Ho, 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 ho.
Screw your freedom.
They want to eliminate what they call the deep state. The deep state is a cadre of professionals dedicated to honoring the Constitution, the laws of this country, and carrying out the policies of the Congress and the President. The deep state dedicated to carrying out the policies of the President. The deep state dedicated to carrying out the policies of the President.
Well, the deep state is a cadre, not a legitimate government organization. They're a cadre, not duly elected representatives. No, they're a cadre. They're a cadre, folks, a cadre of professionals. You mean not public servants? They're professionals. They're a cadre of patriots. Oh my, it's fucking deep state, huh? I got me a cup of deplorable coffee going right now, folks. I am having it and loving it. I need it. It's been one heck of a long day. But the deep state. I want to make this Wild Wednesday not about the Wild West, but about the wild cadre of deep state. They're hurting, folks. You, me, the president. I hope the president wants to get rid of the deep state as much as we do. Another nickname for it was the swamp. Well, guess what, folks? Breaking news on December 11th, 2024, the year of our Lord. FBI Director Christopher Wray has announced his resignation, folks. It's go time. Please, it's go time. But get this. Interestingly, we knew he wanted to resign before Trump takes office. He doesn't want to get fired, so he's resigning. Have you all heard that exactly one day after the Inspector General, the IG, the Inspector General released a report that ratted out the FBI for doing what? Oh, yeah. For spying on Kash Patel. Go time, folks. The deep state is on the ropes. Who was part of the FBI? James Comey, who admitted on national TV that Hillary Clinton violated the law. They destroyed government phones, smashing them with hammers. She erased 33,000 emails. She kept a government server in her private residence in the basement, unsecured, and it was hacked. Major crime. And the FBI, one of the cadre members, James Comey, no charges filed, no charges pressed. Ruby Rod Rosenstein of the FBI, lying little weasel dick piece of shit. Peter Strzok, the evil elf on a shelf from the FBI. And then Christopher Wray stepped in with his charming Ivy League bullshit appearance and manners, pretending to be someone with integrity, just like the rest of these pieces of shit, folks, pretending to have integrity. Quite a shit show indeed, folks. The deep state is scared. The FBI is one of their front pieces, It's like they're queen on a chessboard. It can move front, back, left, right, diagonal. It doesn't matter. It's the most powerful, versatile piece in our domestic deep state machine. Good golly, folks. I hope you're excited about this. I am. There was that piece that was released. Well, if Trump wins the election, we at the FBI are going to leave the country. Well, you better. Folks, I can't tell you my levels of elation or my levels of absolute gutter disappointment, depending on what the Trump administration does. January 20th and 21st and 22nd, I want to see guillotines in front of Congress by the 30th of January. Is that asking for too much? Am I asking for too much? I am not encouraging violence. Oh, no, but I do want justice. I'm not recommending any illegal activity. I want everything to be according to the law as it's written. We know what treason is. Shit has hit the fan, folks. You and I, we're suffering. We're suffering from what? Inflation, destruction of our currency, national security. Are they aliens or are they drones? Once again, big news of the day. Congress, the state of New Jersey, they're like, what are these things? Where are they coming from? The Pentagon spokes mouthpiece liar comes out and says, they're not from a Chinese or Iranian mothership off the coast being launched. Well, that's what others are saying. What is Joe Biden? Where's Joe Biden? Who's in charge of the country? Anybody? Anybody? When I say Wild Wednesday, I mean it. Drones everywhere. Now, are they a fabrication? Are they a projection, a hologram? Are they real? Why don't they show up on radar? What is showing up on radar? What the hell are they doing? And there's a lot of speculation now. And it is merely that, speculation. Cafefe.com, speculation. Speculation is what? That there is a weapon of mass destruction over New Jersey, in New Jersey, around New Jersey, and there's going to be a mass casualty event. Or are these drones all part of an elaborate system? Drones, UAPs, aliens, are they part of a massive system? Kind of like micro, tiny, relative to a giant one, EMP. Are they all little EMP devices? Because people have taken their own private drones, flown them up to where these mystery drones are at, and guess what? They say they get close and then they get knocked out. They just crash. Very interesting stuff indeed. The deep state is hurting, folks. The deep state is hurting. Get your questions down below. Uman, moderator extraordinaire, is in the house with the big blue wrench. And he's going to check your questions. I know you've got some stuff to say, folks. I want to hear it. I want to give you more on the deep state from a moron from within the deep state. Postmaster General. That sounds important. Oh, by the way, the Postmaster General's troops have guns. That's right. A lot of the U.S. Postal Service people have guns and ammunition. So the Postmaster General appeared in Congress today, and his name is Louis DeJoy. He was grilled over the failures and the bankruptcy of the United States Postal Service under the current Postmaster General, who is a little bald weasel. And you know what he did? When he was being grilled, he covered his ears. Like a child. acting like a child when Congress wants to hold him accountable for bankrupting the Postal Service. Acts like a child. There's your deep state for you. Louis DeJoy. DeBoy-toy. That's essentially what I think it means. Just, it's unbelievable, folks. But the deep state is scared. Trump is making a lot of inroads. We have a lot of things to be hopeful for, but we need to stay active. We need to stay politically active. We need to be calling every day. That bitch, Senator Joni from Iowa, said she's going to support Pete Hegseth for Secretary of Defense. She's going to do it now. You know why? It's not because Pete Hegseth is such a handsome dude. It's not because the inside lining of his business coat is the American flag. It's not because he uses really good hair products. It's not because of anything other than you guys out there calling her office, typing a message to her office and sending an email, carrier pigeon, smokes it. You got the message to that bitch. Know who else needs that message? Senator Murtaugh from Alaska. She looks like a grizzled piece of salted meat. And she is just a fossil of deep state bullshit. How the hell can she represent Alaska with respect to the Department of Defense and the Pentagon? I mean, Alaska is across the Bering Strait from Russia, allegedly the grand enemy of the United States of America, right? So the answer from Senator Murtaugh is we want more woke generals and we want a woke Secretary of Defense because the Russians are really scared of faggots and drag queens and transgender fruitcakes. That's what scares the Russians. No, it doesn't. In fact, all it does is encourage an enemy. So she needs to be called and written to and straightened the fuck up. Oh, folks, there's games behind the scenes, gamesmanship. Oh, it's coming. It is coming. We're just seeing the start. We're seeing the warm up, the pregame warm up. I got to get loosened up and get the old arm warmed up. Shit, I remember doing that in Little League. I'm like, why are we getting our arms warmed up? We're kids. Oh, it's just good practice, just in case any of you kids get to the big leagues. Crazy business, folks. Crazy. Anyways, let's get back into it. In Serbia, the prime minister there, his name is Vučić. And this is what he says. I'm not Assad, right? Of course not. You're in Serbia. And he is vowing to defend his country. What is the prime minister of Serbia? Why is he saying, I'm not Assad? Who's Assad? Oh, yeah, that's the guy who fled Syria, sought asylum in Russia. Bashar al-Assad, who's been fighting off the international deep state. And they own Syria now, but they don't like Serbia. They don't like Romania. They don't like Georgia. Folks, there's some incredible stuff. He is accusing the prime minister of Vučić. He's accusing foreign intelligence services of attempting to overthrow his government. This is a big deal, folks. He wants to defend his nation, Serbia, and he's saying foreign intelligence services. What is a foreign intelligence service? It is Interpol. It is MI6. It is Mossad. It is the CIA. And you could even say in Russia, it's the GRU, or at least it used to be the GRU. And they're attempting to overthrow his government. How do you overthrow a government? You do it in an election or in a coup d'etat. Do we have examples of that? Yes, we do. It is very, very possible. And here are some examples of overthrowing a government in a number of different ways. Iraq and Afghanistan. You guys know about that one. Total military. How about this? Syria. We just witnessed it. How about Libya? That's right, Libya, where they captured Muammar Gaddafi and they sodomized him publicly and killed him. Now, I was not a Colonel Muammar Gaddafi. I don't know why he chose Colonel. I guess General was just too frequently used. He wanted to be Colonel Gaddafi. All he wanted was gold for his oil, not dollars. And he was giving the people of Libya inexpensive electricity, drinkable water, free health care. Not that I agree with socialism, folks, but they considered the oil a national treasure and wanted to give the people something. Well, let me continue with coup d'etats. Ukraine. And the biggest coup d'etat that the world has never known was called 2020 United States of America. That was stealing an election that was that heralded the January 6th debacle, when decency and justice should have prevailed. And that election should not have been certified. Folks, the World Economic Forum has instructed the United States deep state, and it's instructed the international deep state known as the Foreign Intelligence Services and the European Union and NATO. They've instructed for a hard takeover for their agenda, whatever agenda it is, whether it's 2025 or 2030 or 2050 or 2020. I don't care. Whatever number, their agenda is what matters. They're trying to take Georgia, folks. I'm not talking about the state of Georgia. I'm talking about the Georgia over there in Russia. They're screwing with Romania and Hungary and now Serbia. They tried killing, remember Fico? Fucking shot him several times in the chest. The man lived. Don't tell me, oh, it's a random shooter. No, boy, folks, we have it. And another, if I shall, and if I may, and I'll tell you what, I will, because it's my show. For the moment, it'll be your show in another 15 minutes. So get your questions below. But for now, it's my show. Another thought on these mystery drones, if you will, is that they're training and practicing, and that they will make an effort to take out U.S. politicians. And depending on what country, or maybe even what, shall we say, faction wants to own the country, will determine who they go after. I sure hope Trump has his A game going. I really do. All right, here we go. Where do we want to go next? Oh, yeah. Capitol Police have arrested a, quote, pro-trans man. He looked to me to be a trans. Look, if you're going to say you're pro-trans and you're kind of an effeminate, violent fruitcake, you are trans. That's all there is to it. So this pro-trans man assaulted Republican Congressional Representative Nancy Mace, who has been fighting to get men out of women's bathrooms, out of women's locker rooms, and to protect the sanctity of private places for women. And I think that should include women's scholastics and women's sports and sororities, etc. Now, this guy was at least 3 times as big as Nancy, weight-wise. And he injured her. He fucked her up pretty good. And she wrote on X, and I saw it. She wrote on X, the L and the G need to they need to divorce the T. And I responded directly to her and said, no. And I'm just going to skip using the L, the L for lesbian, and the G for gay, and the B for bi. No, they don't get to divorce them. You see the trannies and the minor attracted pedophiles. They are the bastard children of the lesbians and the gays and the bis. LGBTQ, right? Plus, blah, blah, blah. Those are the bastard children. You let perversion out of the closet, and their kids are going to run free with them. They're all together. The L's and the G's and the B's and the Q's, they support the T's and the minor attracted pedophiles. Now, I'm going to say this, I'm going to use the phrase good. There are good gays out there who don't want to molest children, who just want to live their life, who just want to be gay, whether they're lesbians or males. It doesn't fucking matter to me. They're all gay. There are good ones that don't want to molest children, groom children, trans people. They just want to live their fucking life. And I get it, because that's all I want, is to live my fucking life. But for the most part, these perverted fuckers, their children are even more perverted. I'm not giving them a break. I told Nancy that in my response. Sorry, this is a war on our culture. It's a war on our morality. It's a war on our nation. And I'm not going to get rid of just one platoon. They all need to be put back into the closet, have the door slammed on them, and shut them the fuck up. It's just LGBS. It is a lot of BS there, man. A lot of BS. Thank you, Mr. Uman. He has the power, folks, to do that. Just the best coffee. That's all there is to it. If you want some good old American coffee, delicious, wake you up in the morning, deplorablecafefe.com. All right, let me continue. I got some time left. So yeah, they arrested this clown. Wow. You're going to love this, folks. The Biden White House announced a $20 billion loan to Ukraine. Wait a minute. I thought, I've heard two numbers, 20 billion and 50 billion. Which one is it? Well, the Gateway pundit said 20 billion. Other people in the news are saying 50. Either way, I don't care. But it's a loan. They're going to loan this to Ukraine using stolen, frozen Russian assets. Is Putin retarded? Is he stupid? Putin's going to demand Russia's money back when they get to the Ukraine-Russia peace talks with Trump. They're going to demand their money back. Or they're going to say reparations, assets from Ukraine. Or he could tell Trump, this is Vladimir Putin, he could tell Trump, I want all of my money released. We are supposed to trust you and buy your treasuries, and then you steal them. You, as in the country of the United States government, unfreeze their money, give it back to them, whatever. But Russia is in charge here. They can make the demands. We want our money back. We want reparations from Ukraine. We want, it's going to be interesting, folks. Ukraine is not going to win this. They're not going to win the war. They're not going to win the peace talks. But the mainstream media is going to play it. And of course, Donald J. Trump, President of the United States, is going to walk away claiming absolute Trump victory no matter what he gets. No matter what, he's going to say, art of the deal, I did this. No matter what. And Ukraine's going to pay the fucking bill. Good golly, folks. Good golly. Oh, and speaking of President Donald J. Trump, he is going to be named Time's Person of the Year. No. He's a man. He is Time's Man of the Year. And I say this, look, there's more than 8 billion people on the planet. That's 4 billion men, 4 billion women. Is Time not a big enough magazine to have Man of the Year and Woman of the Year? Oh, wait. I almost forgot there's people with mental disorders out there that all claim different genders and even different species. I guess we'd have to have 100 different Time magazines for all of the other sexual preferences and agendas and identities, right? Yeah, but I think we could do men and women. But yeah, Donald J. Trump, gonna be interesting. It really is, folks. Now, Oh, by the way, one of the least popular people anywhere in Washington, D.C. is Turtles Mitch McConnell. And he can barely walk after his fall. His face is smashed up. He bruised his hand up. He got in a fight with gravity. And once again, folks, in my opinion, like Joe Biden, this is elder abuse. And Mitch the bitch clearly is a puppet. He's owned by his financiers. So he's not leaving office. I mean, if you look at these Washington, D.C. fossils like Pelosi and Mitch McConnell, Senator Strom Thurmond, he's gone. He's long gone. And I talked about Darth Vader Ginsburg, right? Who is a Supreme Court justice. These people cannot let go of the reins of power. They are fucking greedy megalomaniacs. Good God. Anyways, Mitch, you need to quit, you old fuck. What a worthless son of a bitch. And I'll say that to anyone who loves Mitch McConnell. He's a worthless son of a bitch. What has he done for me and you? Well, he may have gotten some people in Kentucky a good deal, but that didn't help me or America one damn bit. Nope. Oh, by the way, before I forget, Volodymyr Zelensky, the leader of Ukraine, who isn't going to allow elections, likes to arrest priests and steal their money, likes to kill American journalists, and likes to send missiles flying into Russia. He is refusing Biden's demand to lower the age of conscription from 25 down to 18. That's interesting. The guy tells and begs from Biden and America and the rest of the world, money. I hope he comes to Florida, folks. I hope he comes to Florida to hide. I bet if he's going to go to Florida, he's probably going to go to either Miami or St. Petersburg, Florida, not St. Petersburg, Russia. St. Petersburg, Florida, which is kind of a homo capital. Anyways, what Zelensky said is, hey, Putin only fears Trump. Only fears Trump. He doesn't fear Zelensky. He doesn't fear Biden. He doesn't give a shit. Putin is in the driver's seat, and I don't even believe that he fears Trump. I would use a different word. He probably respects Trump. In any event, folks, the shit has hit the fan. I hope you're prepared. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. Now, you guys know I cannot talk about the Jim Jones juice, the VAXXXXX, but there's other government-funded research that is now being heavily questioned publicly, and the walls are closing in on El Governmente in the National Institutes of Health because they funded research into transgender drugs, procedures, etc., with a keen eye on the mental health of children. Well, it turns out that this doctor in charge of this hid the results of her transgender study. She is now in serious trouble and was testifying before the Senate. The bullshit gender-affirming care for trannies does not, I repeat, does not, according to the real results of the study, does not improve children's mental health. In other words, taking a child who is gender confused, upset about puberty, confused because their body's changing, giving them drugs that stops puberty, giving them drugs that are hormones from the opposite gender, and performing physical mutilation to their bodies doesn't improve their mental health. Who would have thunk that? Yeah, see, what this is about is mutilating children, grooming children to think that only sex matters, literally gender and sex, and selling drugs. Tell me the drug companies aren't profiting off of this one. No one can tell me that, folks, because It's true. The pharmaceutical companies are only interested in profiting off of drug sales. In fact, doctors, you are 6 times more likely to die from seeing a doctor than you are from getting gunshot death. Gunshot, doom, death, killed. 182. 6 times more likely. Don't go to doctors and don't stand in front of a gun. I'll tell you what, folks, we got a lot going on. We do. We've got a lot going on. But guess what? It is now your turn on the Prepared Mind channel. I got more stuff to talk about. Let's find out what you want to talk about, because I want to know. Inquiring minds want to know. And we're back. All right, Mr. Uman. Let's see what's on the board today. Uman says a Chinese citizen was arrested while trying to leave the country after flying a drone over Vandenberg Space Force Base. That's interesting. Vandenberg, that's on the West Coast. It's kind of like the West Coast launch pad, Cape Canaveral or Cape Kennedy, if you will, depending on how old you are and whether the Mandela effect is hit where you launch rockets from. Anyways, yeah, Vandenberg's on the coast over there in Southern California. So you want to fly a drone over the Space Force base. Sorry, not going to happen. Interesting, very interesting. These drones, they're being used for what? You can put radiation detectors in them. You can do infrared. You can do all kinds of stuff. Drones carry quite a bit of weight relative to their own size and appearance. This whole drone thing, is it getting out of hand, or are we as people just now figuring out that warfare is changing? Spying is changing. Information intelligence gathering is changing. Reconnaissance is changing. And Chinese, not Americans of Chinese descent, but the Chinese need to be removed from the country. Every bit as much as the illegals from other countries. Are there Chinese businessmen that are good? Sure. Are there Chinese investors that are good? Sure. Are there Chinese investors and businessmen that are bad because they work for the People's Liberation Army, the Chinese Communist Party, the CCP, or the PBOC, the People's Bank of China? Yeah, these people are dangerous. And they need to be seriously vetted and everything before they're allowed in this country, because while they're a huge trading partner, a huge manufacturer, the Chinese need to be watched. Their interests, folks, are not for our good. While around the world, they've been accused of playing very fair. They're very crafty and good businessmen also. So they are making mutually beneficial agreements with countries in Africa, South America, Central America. As long as the people there make a little bit of money, then the Chinese make a lot of money. Everyone's happy. It's a different program than traditional European colonialism. But it's a program that's not trustworthy all the same. Thank you, Mr. Uman. Appreciate that. Vandenberg Space Force. They're promising a lot coming from Space Force, by the way, that it's going to be exciting and cool. I'm curious. I have a lot of questions about the planet, low Earth orbit, the Van Allen belts, high Earth orbit. I have a lot of questions, and they're not being answered because those answers are for need to know basis only. And John, you don't need to know. All right, Mr. Uman, where shall we go next with the Prepared Mind channel? And Uman, no, that was a good one. Diving Frog checks in. He says, I figured out the Jersey drone thing. It's either ET is looking for Reese's Pieces or available properties near mobster figures. It's safer to live next door to a gangster than to a leftist, meaning communists. I tell you what, I don't know about ET, the extra testicle, looking for Reese's. In fact, that was, everyone remembers, that was a marketing gimmick thrown in there. Man, it seemed to work. Aliens love Reese's Pieces. But yeah, why New Jersey? I mean, they're all over the planet, folks. In China, they're everywhere. These sightings, not just New Jersey. We're going to find out. Now, of course, we all want to know the facts. We want to know the truth. So we look to government. I think rightfully we look to government and say, what the fuck are we paying you people to do? You're supposed to know what the hell's going on. What the fuck is going on? And they have no answers that they're willing to give us. Or they've just got no answers because they're a bunch of incompetent fucks. There we go. So OT checks in. OT checks in and says, I stopped going to the Dr. Quacks since I had my last child. I was not pleased with how they treated me. Well, there's two ways to be treated, OT. One way of treating you is to treat your symptoms or medical condition. The other treatment is how they treat you as a human fucking being. They talk down to you. They look at you as a piggy bank. There's no money in healthy people. And there's a little bit of money in dead people. That's the act of dying they make money on. Once you're dead, you're no good to them. So they want to keep you in that area between healthy and dead. And that's where they make their money. That's where the drug companies make their money. So yeah, they're going to treat you as a small piggy bank. I don't know. We need to run some more tests on you and try out some drugs and see how you like them. I don't know. And but the way they treat you, yeah, they talk down to you, etc. Last time I stood in front of a doctor, it was to assist a friend in some medical, shall we say, concerns. And it's always quite interesting to listen to doctors realize they're not talking to retards. But yeah, they will talk down to you. Let me give you an example. Fucking PA, right? A physician's assistant, the first one to see my friend. And says to my friend, well, we've done some looking in your chest there, and looks like you have cancer. Right out the fucking gate. Well, you said there's some stuff on the lungs. How do you know that's cancer? Well, I like to give people the worst case scenario right out the gate. I'm like, that's how you're going to treat people, is scare the living shit out of them with absolutely zero fucking evidence? Something could be lymph nodes, cysts, polyps, anything, but you just come out with fucking doctors. Thank you, OT, very much. Yeah, I trust, and we probably had a dozen doctors walk through. Finally found one. This great doctor, good bedside manner, intelligent thought. He's like, no, don't worry about that. And he just kind of poo-pooed the idiots. They're dangerous. Fucking doctors are dangerous. Literally. I've known a few good doctors, and the rest are fucking quack, quack, quack. Okay, Mr. Uman, where you at, buddy? What do we got next? We got name redacted. He said, why New Jersey? 2 huge military installations and the supply route to the European theater. Well, that could be it, huh? New Jersey. The entire East Coast, folks, is loaded with ports. It's loaded with manufacturing. It's loaded with Americans, military bases up and down the coast. Yeah, that would make sense. How about nuclear weapons research facilities? Nuclear power research facilities? Nuclear anything facilities? Those always seem to be of great interest to the ETs out there, like the Minot military weapons installation up in Montana. How about in Washington State? We got the Hanford nuclear facility there. And in Idaho, of course, and many other areas. But they seem to take a big interest in nuclear. Anyways, I want to thank you for that. Yeah, why New Jersey? New Jersey. Yeah, there's a lot there, New Jersey and New York and everywhere. But yeah, New Jersey in particular seems to be getting quite a bit. I have a feeling that they're testing their capabilities over New Jersey. If these are human controlled, how quick would it be? How hard would it be to take their circus over the top of Washington, D.C.? Once again, the military sends planes and helicopters up, and these things disappear, literally disappear, or evade them. Remember those balloons, the weather balloons that were flying over Montana and then again over the Great Lakes? I think the greater Chicago area, if I'm right, man. And they shot at them and couldn't hit them. This is several months ago, probably half a year ago. These unidentified aerial phenomena. They're chasing them around. It's quite interesting. Makes you wonder what the fuck is going on. All I know is, look, if these things are not human, or rather, yeah, we'll just go not human. If they're not ours, and they're not Chinese, and they're not Russian, if they're not Iranian, whatever, if they're not Israeli, and we don't know what they are, then we're at big risk because, especially in the United States, we are incredibly vulnerable to terrorism, our power grid, food supply, communication systems. All that is very, very vulnerable. And without it, we go back to cart and horse, or donkey, mule, cart. Right? And instead of using power tools, we're using hammers and chisels again. Good golly, I sure hope not. Mr. Uman, where shall we go next with the commentary? And we've got Cyber Hannah in the house. And she says, maybe the drones have an invisible force field shields. Someone should poke it and see. Oh, man, I tell you. So a lot of people are filming these things. They're trying to look at them with telescopes and get up-close views of these things, these drones, these unidentified aerial phenomena, these potential alien beings. They look like living plasma in some instances. They don't look to be solid vehicles. They look like swirling gaseous masses. And their size is kind of, I would say, rather indistinguishable. Are they size of a basketball, or are they size of a basketball court? That said, they appear to have, at least some of them, a type of field around them, which to me is extremely suspicious. If it's a cloaking device, we can see it, right? Apparently infrared, they show up on infrared when they don't show up in the visible light spectrum. Additionally, they have this like almost like a shield or a bubble around them in some instances, and it moves with them as they fly along. I'm wondering, right, if that's not a result of some sort of electronic interference or protective system, right, that would protect them from more like these little drones that want to fly up and get a look. They get too close and whoops-a-daisy, they get shut off and they crash to the ground, right? Like mosquitoes falling out of the air. So again, just what the heck is going on? What the heck is going on with these things? I hope to find out. Folks, are there aliens? That question's been out since before I was born. Hell, even before 1947 with the Roswell crash. The question is, what are they? Do I, John, believe there are aliens? I believe there are beings, and I'll be honest with you guys, I believe there are beings that are not humans like us. Where are they from? That's a hell of a good question. They claim to be from, well, initially they claimed to be from Venus and Mars. You know, creating that little green men from Mars mythos. And then once the world kind of discovered through science that Venus is 1,000 degrees, right? Very hot, very hot. Well, the human being like looking people that met up with George Adamski, they can't be from Venus. So with the Germans in World War II and pre-World War II, the Vril Society said they're from Aldebaran, a star system far away. And we've heard that they're from the Seven Sisters, the Pleiades, and we've heard they're from Alpha Centauri, blah, 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 blah. In the Sirius system, we don't know where they're from. They could be interdimensional. They could be spiritual beings only. They could be plasma beings. They could be electronic or electric beings. We don't know. I don't know anyways. The government has lots of film that's been smuggled out, released, leaked, whistleblowers, and even had some alien footage that was just thrown away and someone found it with these little gray bastards, anywhere from 3 feet tall to 5 feet tall, with variously weird shaped heads and eyes, yada, yada, yada. I don't know. I just think that there's more to this place than just us. Okay, enough of my crap. What do you guys want to talk about? Mr. Ooman, who is up? And it is Ooman himself stepping into the ring. And he says, the sheriff of San Diego County, announced that the sheriff's department, will defy the county board of supervisors. They declared, folks, the county board of supervisors declared they're a super sanctuary county. This is quite interesting. One moment. Had a cerveza sneeze. Okay, super sanctuary city. What the hell is a super sanctuary city? Well, they're gonna allow anyone to flee and hide and put them there. Now, this is getting quite interesting. Tom Homan, who is the border czar, he's the bureaucrat who's in charge of border protection, coastal protection, airways protection. Essentially, we need a dome over America. Hopefully the dome goes around Florida proper. Anyways, San Diego County wants to hide every single scumbag alien there that wants. And this includes criminals, drug dealers, child traffickers, rapists, murderers. They're a super sanctuary city or county. Well, the sheriff, she said no. The sheriff is the highest law enforcement officer or official or politician, because sheriffs are elected by the people. Chief of police is not. They're appointed. They're a bureaucrat. But sheriffs are politicians in the sense that they are elected. They're also law enforcement or constabulary, if you want to use an old-fashioned term. The sheriff is the highest law enforcement officer in the land. But Tom Homan says anybody wants to get in the way of him and his officers of doing their jobs, they will be arrested and prosecuted for aiding and abetting. That's right, folks. You and I have discussed this for months, especially since the Trump victory. The claim I made, we talked about, that if you aid and abet, if you hide, you give aid and comfort to a criminal, you are an accessory after the fact. If you interfere with the administration of justice investigations, if you interfere, that is a crime. These are felonies, folks. Felonies. And people like fat ass Illinois Governor Prickster, he thinks he can probably hide them in his pants or in his butt crack. I think Tom Homan is not going to play fuck around. In fact, he's going to start in the city of Chicago, man. The city of Chicago is going to get the first taste January 20th or 21st. I don't know when Trump is going to turn him loose. But trust me, the investigations have already been done. They know where these people are. The plan is already being put together. They're not going to wait till January 20th or 21st to go, Okay, now how are we going to do this? What are we going to do? What's our authority? How's this work? No, they already know. And I'm glad the sheriff of San Diego County is saying, go fuck yourselves, supervisors. Supervisors have no control over the sheriff, folks. None whatsoever. Now, lobby, complain, campaign against her. They can do those sorts of things, but they can't use their power and authority to remove or stop her. Law and order, folks. Truth and justice. The American way. Get these fucking illegals out of here. We've spent more money as a nation on these illegals. It is mind-bending. Mind-bending. The waste is mind-bending. Anyways, having said that, there's a lot of cities, counties, and states that are going to try this. We're a sanctuary, and homeland will just go right over the top of them. I am a big proponent of constitutional restrictions and limitations as defined by the U.S. Constitution. But in there, it explicitly states that the federal government, or the national government, if you will, in Washington, D.C., is authorized to manage the borders, protect the borders. They're responsible for the borders. And any criminals that come across the borders are federal criminals. So just because you jump over the finish line and into the country doesn't mean you're home free. Like a Boyd, you're not. And the federal government, through its various agencies, ICE, Border Patrol, etc., have full authority to go get them. Now, to enter private property, yeah, they're going to need a warrant. But if you are harboring, knowingly and intentionally, federal fugitives in your home or business, you are aiding and abetting and giving comfort to criminals and possibly enemies of the state, and you will be held liable. So there you have it, folks. The fucking games are going to begin. The games are going to begin. Popcorn, beer, soda, scotch, whiskey, whatever good times call for, have it ready, because it's going to get nasty. I'm going to look forward to this crap. Ooh, man, who's up next? And it's name redacted. And he's absolutely correct. He says Gaddafi, Colonel Gaddafi, and Saddam Hussein, they were removed and eliminated because they wanted to do business in gold. So Gaddafi had gold, and he wanted to be paid in gold for oil. I don't know why he just didn't take the US dollars or the euros and go into the free market and buy gold. But he wanted to create the African dinar. And I believe Iraq, Saddam Hussein, had the same vision. That was of oil producing companies getting off of the dollar. In any event, those days are gone. Those days are over. Trump wants to bring them back, and I understand why. It is an exorbitant privilege the United States of America has, or rather the United States government has, in demanding international debt settlement in US dollars, or T-bills, if you will. But the rest of the world is like, after what you did to Russia, the largest nuclear superpower foe of America, you froze their assets. How could Romania or Slovakia or Poland or Egypt or South Africa or Argentina, how could any country, if Russia can't, how can any other country stand up to bullying from the United States government? Now, you may trust Trump. Any leader of the free world or the not so free world could trust Trump, but he'll be gone in 4 years. So any agreements made are agreements that can be nullified, ignored, or put in a slingshot and fired into a volcano, right? They're just agreements written on paper. So they're not going to trust. They're not going to come back to the dollar the way they were before. They may trade in dollars and then take those dollars right to the nearest bank and convert them to gold. Would not surprise me in the least. Why would you make yourself a fucking target? If you have a, shall we say, export surplus, your country is exporting more than what you import, then you are a cash surplus nation, right? Therefore, you're getting excess cash in excess to the cost of doing business and running your country. You turn around, you take those funds, and you go buy gold. Banks are buying gold, folks. I'm not just bringing up gold because it's cute and shiny. Banks, central banks, even the world's largest banks are buying gold. And not just Switzerland, but China and Russia and India, and it's gold and silver. Now we have nations pronouncing silver. Russia has said it. We're stockpiling silver. China has said it and is doing it. And they're bypassing the London and American markets, even though they're draining the shit out of those. And they're signing deals in countries like Argentina and Peru and Mexico, signing deals to take silver concentrates, doré bars, which are not completely purified. So they don't have to report them to the world exchange system. They don't have to let anyone know what the hell they're doing. They're just sucking up the precious metals that are both monetary, industrial, as well as strategic for military and national security purposes. Silver is incredible. And while it's so fucking cheap, it should be, according to many, if you go with a moderate gold to silver ratio, they should be somewhere around $175 an ounce. And goes up from there, depending on how crazy you want to get. All right. Uman, let me know. I'm running out of time, and we got more questions. Let's do it. Mikey G says, remember the president and vice president of Afghanistan? They flew off into the sunset with duffel bags full of cash. Cash, yep. I don't know. You guys remember when Obama gave billions of dollars on pallets to Iran and there was no investigation? I remember that. Do you remember when Syria was given pallets of cash by the Federal Reserve banking system? Oh, no, that was this morning. Literally, pallets of cash showed up in Syria with, of all things, one of those QR codes on the side, and people scanned it from the pictures and found out, oh yeah, Federal Reserve, way to go, giving cash to an Islamic terrorist organization that now controls the nation of Syria. And how do I know they're terrorists? Because they're taking members and suspected members of the Assad family, and they're publicly killing them, mutilating them, and torturing them. And they are now going after the people and the Christians. But yeah, I remember those. I remember all of the bureaucrats in Ukraine that fled and took suitcases full of cash and tried to get out of the country. It was incredible how so many Ukrainians were driving Lamborghinis and Ferraris and Rolls Royces and Bentleys and McLarens and name your fucking expensive car. They just started showing up all over Europe. Surprise, surprise. How did they get all that money from one of the most corrupt countries? Oh, that's corrupt. Ukraine, corrupt. Okay, Uman, who's next? I could drone on and on and on. Uman says the most moderate, progressive jihadis in Syria are dispensing diverse and inclusive bull. It's to the opposition. I need you to come on and explain what your opinion is there, man. I don't want to read into what you think incorrectly. So what are you saying? That good guys?
Well, they're the ones that are being portrayed as the good guys.
They're good guys?
The mostly moderates and progressives that are taking over in Syria. They're mostly good guys.
Is that like safe and effective?
Yes, something like
it's
that.
Safe and effective as long as you don't take it. It's crazy, you know. It really is.
I'm just worried we're going to find ourselves in another 20, 30-year war over there, playing in the sandbox again.
They're playing in the fucking sandbox. You ain't shitting, man. You're really not. We need to get Jamal Bowman to pull the fire alarm on Syria here. Remember that guy, right? He pulled the fire alarm, a federal crime, a felony in Congress to shut down a vote. Yeah, we need to do that with Syria. Anyways, the progressive, the moderates. Are the moderate ones in charge, allegedly?
Allegedly. And they're moderately dispensing bullets to everybody that opposes them.
Moderate bullets, yeah.
There were some horrific videos of what they were doing to these guys today on X. Oh, my God.
It's very sad, man. I remember seeing the pictures and videos, literally, of Senator John McCain and I believe Lindsey Graham and others from America who were spending time in Syria with these moderate terrorists. Yeah, it's bad. I just think it's bad business all the way around, Oliver.
Yeah, we just need to get our nose out of that altogether and let them solve their own problems that they haven't been able to solve for thousands of years.
Interestingly, that I think is Trump's perspective, and I think Putin came to the same realization. Putin got stabbed in the back by Erdogan of Turkey. Turkey is taking its fight into Syria. Israel is setting up a kind of a safe zone around it. They're kind of carving Syria up. What's going on?
I think I heard something about Russian tanks showing up in Syria. I didn't have a whole lot of time to read it at lunchtime, but somehow that they're drawing a line there or something like that. And as far as Turkey goes, they're getting ready to stab NATO in the back too. Those guys, they have no allegiance to anybody, you know. It's whatever's beneficial at the time.
Yeah, Turkey is really just an interesting country that it's just, wow. Turkey is impressive. It's the second largest military in NATO, second only to the United States of America. And it is. They are a bunch of backstabbing pieces of shit. Erdogan is a wonder guy. Half his military equipment is American. The other half is Russian.
Yep.
He's a fascinating mofo. Anyways, dude, we've gone past our 1 hour mark. Do you have any more things that are just we can't let go?
Oh, there's just one more thing that I was going to bring up here. And that was about the Mexican cartels threatening massive retaliation because a border patrol agent ran down somebody crossing the border. And it may have been one of their guys or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I saw the car hit the illegal, and the dude bounced through the air, got up, and started running. I wish I had some of those drugs. I don't know what he was carrying, but he ran. He kept going. He's like, I can't go back. But yeah, the cartels, they want to get active. I say bring it on. You know, the best way to defeat an enemy is to have them announce who they are, make their presence known, and welcome the fight. That is the best way.
Yep. Yeah, because all this non-action and saber rattling that's been going on with years against this stuff obviously isn't getting it done. And if they wanted to get it done, they would have got it done a long time ago.
Yeah. Do you recall the Border Patrol on horse that was trying to run down one of the illegals? And it looked like, I think he was a black guy, not a Mexican. And they were trying to say that he was whipping.
He was whipping them. Yep.
And I think that was during Trump's first tenure as president.
I believe you are correct.
But I think running into someone with a car is much worse than than using a horse to scare some guy. But
it was a lot more fun to watch.
Which one, the horse or the car?
The car.
Yeah, the horse one. Yeah, I tell you. But why isn't Biden being lampooned, or Kamala Harris, since she's the current border czar, over this treatment of people seeking asylum?
Yeah, well, they're not trying to obstruct them. You know, I mean, everything Trump did, they tried to put a racist spin on it, or an Islamophobic or a homophobic spin on everything, you know, and I just hope that he just takes that Homan attitude and just says, "You're full of shit. Bring it on."
Yeah, Holman has his attitude, but he's got his orders. So anything he does is with Trump's blessing. Holman will come up with his plan, and Trump will say, "Do it." I'm sure Trump will add his stuff to it, but no one in the Trump administration should do anything they want without permission, or they get fired. I'm expecting that this time around. At least I hope so. Once again,
I'm
man,
hoping so too. Yeah, the proof will be in the pudding. I mean, they can talk all the game they want, but I've got some concerns already, and hopefully I hope I come on here in 4 years and have to apologize about being wrong about it all being a bunch
apologizing.
of
No apologizing. Let's. I hope you're not. No, I hope you're disappointed in the one hand, and I hope you're happy on the other, man. Yeah, that's all we can do at this point. And actually, take that back. Your advice to stay politically active as an activist, man, is great advice.
Keep writing those letters and keeping the pressure on, because we've
on.
seen that what everybody's doing out there is having an effect.
Yeah, truly. Now, the last way I want to talk about this is if you own a business, and I've had a business, man, you have a business, and you had employees just screwing up, doing things that you said not to do, you would take them aside and say, "You're doing it my way or you're fired." We have to take that same attitude with government servants. They're our servants. Do what we say or we're going to fire you. And there's a number of different ways we can fire them.
I thought you were supposed to pay them more money so they work better.
No, you fire them. Anyways, man, I'm going to let you go. It's the end of the day. I'm going to let everyone go. Thank you for the great support. Thank you for
have a good night, everybody.
You have a good night, man. Semper Fi, get prepared. Get prepared. That's the one thing we can all agree on. Be prepared for everything.